This flashback is getting out of control. It's so funny. And don't get me wrong, I'm having a great time, okay? It's just so funny that every week it's basically like, Oda, please, can we get back to Elbaf? Everything is on fire. And Oda's like, no, see, you're still not getting it, all right? It's not clocking to you that Shaki is the baddest woman of all time. And the thing that's even more crazy is that when Shaki was introduced in this flashback, we immediately understood. Everybody was on board with her being the baddest of all time. We immediately all agreed with Oda. And Oda looked us right in our eyes and he was like, nah, see, I can tell you still don't get it. So let me tell you about why her legs are my favorite thing to draw. And it's just kept going. I think it's going to keep going until we get all the way to God Valley, which is what I want to talk about today. In addition to go over all of the nonsense since our last chapter review, I want to talk about what really happened on God Valley. There's this theory floating around that it's because of Shaki, all right? The narrator called Shaki the treasure of Hachinosu. And we know that the Roger pirates were after something that the Rocks pirates had. So, and who could be the real reason for God Valley happening, which I forgot they were basically doing a Hunger Games out there. I feel like that alone was enough to stop God Valley, or it would if the Marines would do their goddamn job. That's another thing I want to talk about in this video. In the last chapter that came out, chapter 1157, we cut over to the Marine headquarters and we see Garp, we see Tsuru, we see Sengoku, and we see Kong, and Kong is telling everybody about what the higher-ups said about the Giants. And of course, the Gorosei and all of them, they were being racist toward the Giants, and they don't want the Giants to join and become an official recognized nation of the world government. But then Garp jumps in with his own racism. Kong is saying, like, listen, the problem is they're just, like, historically a very vicious people. And then Garp jumps in like, and that's exactly why I want them on our side, all right? I know these Giants are dangerous, okay? But when you need pirates stomped out, you gotta get you some bigger legs. This is a table of cops eating lunch being openly racist. Just a little bit racist. And to them, it's not really racism. They call it racial profiling. To them, it's how they save lives. And I just thought it was funny. Like, a lot of people think that Garp might be associated with Sword or something. I think he's just literally just a cop. I think he believes in the system and he doesn't care how many minorities he has to put in prison to stop these pirates. But that's just an aside, okay? A bunch of funny stuff is happening right now in the story. The funniest thing about it, though, this is all happening within a story that Loki is telling us while the rest of Elbaf is on fire. Forget about the fact that he wouldn't know literally any of this, okay? Forget about the fact that he's talked about Shaki probably more than he's talked about Rocks at this point, okay? Forget about all that. The funniest part to me is the fact that Luffy is for sure asleep right now, right? Like, there's no way he's still listening to Loki talk about Shaki's legs. We all are because we love this flashback and we love everything about it. Luffy is fast asleep, okay? There's no hope that that guy is still awake paying attention to all this. And what's more, Hachinosu asked Loki a very, very direct question. Okay, did you murder our father? And this motherfucker, he went all the way back to when he was a baby and started talking about how everybody was mean to him and how this whole island wasn't really shit. Like, it's crazy to think that Hachinosu has let Loki get this far into this flashback. Like, as soon as he started talking about, well, you know, when I was a baby, my mom threw me off a cliff, Hachinosu should have been like, I need you to focus. That's real sad and all. I need you to focus, all right? That's not what I asked you. What happened with our father? And it's like, at this part in the flashback, we are so many years before whatever the hell Hachinosu wants to know. I do believe we'll eventually get there, but to be honest, Oda's been moving so wacky lately, I wouldn't be surprised if we got to God Valley or something close to God Valley. We just got to some crazy nonsense that happened, and then Oda's gonna cut us back to the real world, and it's gonna be a thing where Hachinosu got a story that we didn't get. Like, I really think Oda is bold enough to try some shit like that. Make us go through this flashback and then get out of the flashback with the other characters having heard a different part of the flashback than we did. So Oda's like, you can have this much. You can't have what you're asking for right now. I'm sorry, that's just not... You can't have it. Don't look at me like that. You can't have it. That's what happened in Wano with Kaido. We got literally a pinch of Kaido's backstory in Wano. And I understand why we did. Like, he's obviously such an important person to have in this story. And also, he's a member of the Rocks Pirates. Like, it makes sense for Oda to do it like that. It's just so shameless that he knows he can get away with it. He's just like, there, look, you saw Kaido as a young lad. That's literally all you get. Look, we showed you that he's friends with King. Those two are probably genuine friends, okay? That's enough to humanize him, and that's That's all you're getting for now, to be honest, so you better just get used to it. I'm so serious, I genuinely think that there's a possibility that we're gonna get out of this flashback with the characters having learned about a different flashback, okay? I really think Oda is shameless, all right? He introduced Sabo again and was like, aha, this is your brother, he had amnesia, don't ask any more questions, bitch. Oda knows how much we trust him and how much we will let quite literally anything slide because it's all gonna make sense eventually. But that fact right there is why this whole thing is so funny. Everything we're learning in this flashback is necessary information for something. And that's why people are starting to speculate about Shaki, all right? This is like the second chapter in a row where Shaki has been the ending of the chapter. As soon as she was introduced, Oda is like, all right, listen, this is the baddest woman of all time, okay? And that's how the chapter ended, all right? And we're like, okay, we get it, all right? Absolutely, she is the baddest woman ever. This chapter came out and Oda was like, it's not clocking to you, is it? So let me say it again. She is the baddest woman of all time. I'm gonna put her in the middle of all these degenerates, all right? I'm gonna surround her with filth and let her be this jewel in the middle of Hachinosu, just so all of you can understand how bad she is. And we're just like, Oda, we saw her basically solo the entirety of the Roger Pirates. We know that she's bad. Oda's like, no, you don't get, I can tell in your eyes you don't get it. So the next chapter that comes out, if I can make one solid prediction for the next chapter that comes out, Shaki will be a big part of it, and she'll also probably be like the last panel of the chapter, okay? That's a really safe prediction, but it's like, I mean, at this point, you might as well go 3 for 3, you know? I mean, at this point, it feels like that's what everybody has decided. When Roger pulled up to the God Valley incident, okay, he was like, where's Rocks? We got to get that treasure, okay? They were looking for some sort of treasure. The thing that concerns me the most, though, is that Garp was on God Valley too, and Garp teamed up with Roger to beat Rocks. So if the reason the Roger Pirates were going to God Valley was to challenge the Rocks Pirates so that they could get Shaki back, that means that Garp ran up on Roger on God Valley, was about to arrest Roger, and then Roger was like, no, wait, you don't understand. She's the baddest woman of all time. And then Garp looked at her and he was like, you know, I know my whole thing is arresting my friends and family members, but goddamn, she really is the baddest woman I have ever seen. All right, Roger, I'm with you. Let's team up and let's drag that beautiful woman away from those degenerates. Like, that might be what happened. Everything is going to hinge on what Garp does when he meets Shaki, because unlike Luffy, like, we know he's not going to be Ace because he has children. He is apparently sired dragon. They look absolutely nothing alike, but apparently he sired dragon and then dragon then sired Luffy. Apparently that's the story that we're being told. I've never given up on the dragon's ugly ass's adopted agenda, to be completely honest, because even in this chapter, you see a young Garp and you're like, yep, that guy's related to Luffy. You see Dragon and you're like, what is this homeless person doing here? Why doesn't he just get a job? But before we get all carried away with that, we need to talk about today's sponsor, which is Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co. Both Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co. are Japanese snack subscription boxes, and their mission is to help you experience Japan from the comfort of your own living room. They do that by providing you with a variety of fun, unique, and exclusive snacks that are only available in Japan. Like the theme for Tokyo Treat this month, which is Snacktastic Moon Fest. And I tell you what, I am so daggone tired of the sun, alright? That guy is a jerk. Okay, I am ready for autumn breeze. I'm ready for the full moon, and she is on her way with Tokyo Treat's limited edition lunar and rabbit themed snacks. Snacks like the Moontastic Pudding, and my personal favorite, the Honey Butter Puffs. And what's autumn without a few chestnuts? Take a load off and enjoy this month's Kit Kat, the Mont Blanc Kit Kat. And the theme for Sakura Cove this month is Autumn Moon Festival. Another way to authentically experience Tsukimi, or the moon viewing celebration in Japan, is by enjoying snacks like the Tsukimi Cookie. Or how about these rabbit soft chews, or the Usagi Manju? Me personally, I'm a big old sucker for a good old-fashioned sesame senbei. You just can't top the rich crisp of sesame and soy. But if you're looking for more moon stuff, take a look at the tableware item for this month, which is the Tsukimi Unomi. Pretty little teacup of a bunny jumping after the moon. And speaking of tea, the Tsukimi Gokucha tea is the tea for this month, and it does indeed taste like the moon. And as always, if you want to learn more about all the snacks you'll be receiving, check out these nifty little booklets that come with each box. There you'll find allergy information and cultural fun facts about the region and its traditions. So if you're like me and you want to get one of these boxes for yourself or or for someone else who also hates the sun, mosey on down to the link in my description and use code MUGIWARA to receive $5 off your first Tokyo Treat or Sakura Co. box. A very special thank you to Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co. for sponsoring this video, and an equally special thank you to you for watching this video. And with that, we are back to the show. But no, genuinely can't wait for Dragon to do something, But another thing that I really like about this flashback is getting to know Ida, which is Hajuden's mom. And honestly, I've never been so sure that someone was gonna die. Like, I'm surprised she's still alive in this flashback. The one thing I know 100% is that Ida, she's so fucking dead. Like, there's literally no way that she makes it out of this flashback alive. But Ida's really cool, man. She even tries mothering Loki, even though Loki is such a badass little kid. That's another thing we got to talk about. Loki got hoed. Like, he got hoed something serious. As soon as he was born, his mom did a Looney Tunes gag. She threw him off a cliff. Like, that was, I didn't laugh, but I could genuinely tell that as soon as I was done being sad, I was gonna laugh so fucking hard at the way she threw that baby. You don't see her throw it, but the trajectory that you see this baby falling off the cliff, she had to have yeeted that son of a bitch. Like, she had to throw it so hard. But yeah, Loki is born, and as soon as he's born, he's got these crazy eyes, and his mom freaks out, and she's like, oh, it's a cursed baby, it's a monster, and she yeets him off a cliff. And so sad, because 1 day old Loki climbs all the way up the tree out of the underworld, and he's crying. It's really, really sad. But Loki's rough past is, of course, what leads him to looking up to someone like Rox, which we got to talk about Rox. I've never seen someone that I was so sure was a bad influence. Like, I feel like if I hung out with Rox one time, he would start bringing out hard drugs and then pressuring me into doing hard drugs. It's just something about his eyes, That is a snake person if I've ever seen one. So, Harold, we were unsure about for a long time. People were speculating on Harold being evil or working with the world government or something like that. It turns out Harold is just stupid. I can tell. I don't know how this flashback ends yet. I can just tell Harold is dumb. Like, he is so blinded by, I guess, progressing Elbaf. He not only has neglected his son, but he is just eating dinner with a snake. I just feel like that's what's going to be the end of Harold. I think it's going to be Rox. I don't think it's going to be the world government. I think Rox is going to do something, and it's going to be awful, okay? That's my prediction. But it could just as easily be the world government doing something to Harold, okay? Or, honestly, just Harold being a big dummy. Okay? And I'm not convinced Harold is smart enough to not take a deal from the devil. That's my whole point. I don't know, man. At this point, I would almost rather you just fully align with the Rox pirates, because honestly, they don't seem that bad at this point in the story, okay? Whitebeard's even with them. No idea why that's happening, okay? I know the Davy back fight happened, but seeing Whitebeard around these terrorists, these criminals, and these delinquents, seeing a guy who literally just wants to have a family, be one of the strongest people there, too. Like, he's just walking around. He's even mentoring Kaido a little bit in this newest chapter. It is so weird seeing Uncle Phil with the goddamn Rox pirates, all right? That is so disorienting to me. We get a really funny joke from their interactions, though, because it's Whitebeard, it's Buckingham Stussy, and then it's Big Mom, and it's Gloriosa, okay? So at this point in the story, Gloriosa has left the Kuja pirates. They're reading a newspaper that says that Shaki also left the Kuja pirates, and Gloriosa's like, oh man, I hope she's not going after Roger. I'll never forgive her if she is. And then Big Mom says something like, oh, look at that. Even the ladies on Amazon Lily can't conquer true love. And then Gloriosa honestly starts slut-shaming a little bit. She's like, I don't know what you would know about love, which you pop out babies like popcorn. And it's like, which isn't untrue. It is honestly really crazy to think that at this point in time, Big Mom is pillaging, doing all of these crazy things with the Rox pirates, and just as much as she can. In fact, in this panel, we see a young Katakuri, and it looks like that's Oven. And Katakuri, I love this panel of Katakuri. He's just standing on his mom like, yeah, I'm little, but I'm still bout shit. Don't try nothing, all right? That's my mom. I'm gonna be a problem when I get older. Big Mom is funny as hell anyway. Like, the reason Big Mom is having so many kids is because she wants to create a utopia without any racism. So she wants to stop the injustice and the racism in the One Piece world. And instead of joining the civil rights movement like a normal person, Big Mom just started fucking everybody. Every weird looking dude she came across on her adventure, she was scooping them up like King Kong and carrying them back to whole cake island to give him death by snoo-snoo. And every night she would go to bed like, take that, racism. It's the funniest thing in One Piece, and I'm sorry, Gloriosa, you are just jealous that Big Mom is a sex icon, as well as a civil rights leader, I guess. Like, it's okay, Gloriosa. You don't have to compare yourself to Big Mom. But we get this really funny interaction with Stussy and Whitebeard. Stussy's like, oh, well, why does everybody keep talking about Shaki, all right? But Whitebeard's only had eyes for me, and Whitebeard's like, I've never once thought of you. Did Rocks get all of these people in a Davy back fight? Truly. And is everybody just sticking to the rules of a Davy back fight? For real? Like, is that honestly happening? Is Whitebeard only with these lunatics because he lost a Davy back fight? This is such a funny thing for Oda to do. That's why Long Ring Long Land is canon. Oda wanted you to imagine Whitebeard doing wacky races, and he loses, and now he's a part of the Rocks Pirates. Like, that is 100% canon. That is what happened. But of course, at this point in time, Shaki is with the Rocks Pirates on Hachinosu. Why is she there, okay? But she seems right at home here. She's opened up a bar, and I need to know why she's doing that. What is at Hachinosu that she needs? Is she just doing this to lure in the Roger Pirates? I don't think so. Is she doing this because she needs something on Hachinosu? I don't know, maybe, but whatever she's doing, dude, it's so interesting. I'm so curious what the hell she could be after right here. I was originally so interested in Bone Daddy, and I am still, like what's going on with Brook. Gunko might have known Brook in the past, like even if it's not Bone Daddy that's happening, like one of the Holy Knights knows Brook. That means Brook, for sure, at least has another backstory in him. Like, his first backstory is one of the saddest in One Piece. Oda's about to double up and give us another one. I'm so ready for that. I'm so ready to feel that pain. Kuma is still brain dead with his daughter at the top of Elbaf in the middle of probably either a burning library or in the middle of Elbaf with everything else on fire. And there's demons walking around. Like, I'm so interested in all of that that's going on, but now this mystery of why Shaki has to be in Hachinosu has got to be the thing that I am most curious about. Because I already know all that other shit is going to get handled, all right? I don't know how, but I can speculate on different ways that those conflicts could end. This, I have no clues at all. I have no idea why Shaki is here among all of these degenerates. I've got no idea. But I'm excited nonetheless, and I was really excited to talk about this chapter. I took a break from doing chapter reviews in general because every time a chapter came out, I would get spoiled. And I didn't want to bring the anger that I had from getting spoiled into the chapter reviews, okay? It's just frustrating because when I was growing up, we used to beat people up for spoiling stuff, and now it's everybody. Everybody does it. That's the whole thing that I wanted to say. I love this chapter. It's insane that Shaki is on Hachinosu. It's insane that we're learning all of this and Elbaf is literally on fire. But let me know what you guys think. What's your favorite part of Elbaf right now? What are you eager to get back to or to learn about going forward? For me personally, I do want to get back to Elbaf, but I need to see something else amazing in this flashback. I don't know what it is yet. Okay, I just need Oda. Hopefully it's God Valley. I don't know if we're double dipping into God Valley a little bit too soon, but I'm ready to see that. I know a lot of people are, and I'm eager to see who caused God Valley. It certainly could be Shaki. Could be. I mean, look at her. My God. But we'll have to see. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for being interested, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one.